Hello, hello, hello. This is Mice in the Attic, and you'll notice our situation is somewhat changed. We're outside at Southern Provisions today because of the COVID-19 epidemic, and I have my mask, you see, but I'll take it off while I'm talking. Because of the virus, you can't have all these people jammed up together, so we're doing it outside. We have today Furious George is the talent, and he's going to play some songs, and then I'm going to talk to him. So without further ado, Furious George.
Thank you. All right, this first song is called Over the Moon. Okay. All right, this next song is called To Get Her Alone. Without your help, oh darling, don't you see? next song is called Piss. Gaze into the heaven, swelling like the tide, spreading at the edges like a goddamn wildfire. The sliver moon, the vapor trails together, so surreal, like the cigarettes last one's called More. Everybody, my name's Furious George.
All right.
All right, I'm going to move the camera from.
That was Furious George. I'm going to ask a couple questions, and I want to truthful as you can possibly get. I've been a musician for 59 years, and my music doesn't sound anything like that. That doesn't mean anything's good or bad. I just want to know, what do you call that particular style, and describe what you're doing and all that, you know, to help me along. I mean, I've been a player for a lot of major acts and a lot of, you know, but I didn't play that. But that doesn't mean anything. You know, tell me about your music and tell me how it fits in and all that nonsense.
Okay. Well, mostly I would just call it like indie rock, other than the lyrics I think are a little more on my punk side. I've been a musician since I was about like 12, 13. Hope to be kicking as long as you have, 59 years. That sounds awesome. But
I started just before my 5th birthday, so I'm
Oh, wow.
64 years old.
nice. Yeah, I'm hoping to still, be kicking by then and just getting better and better. And like I started drums at first, and this is all like all the drum tracks are something that I've played myself, and I lean toward kind of a like metal drumming, like double pedals and kind of fast fills and things like that. Just because I'm in other.
So what are you
projects.
using down there? It's a looper?
Yeah, it's just the loop pedal, and I make all my beats in Ableton, and you can just like input them into the loop pedal as like wave files, and then just let them rip. And I've tried it with a live drummer before, but we really it wasn't
A good
we
match.
weren't getting, or no, it was a good match. He's a fantastic drummer. I just like we weren't getting gigs really or anything like that, so it kind of just fell on me to like if I want to progress the songs forward, I just gotta do it myself.
No.
So, but yeah, so that's a lot of fun. I do that with like Ableton Live, and I have like an Octapad drum setup. It's all MIDI, and yeah, this is my first project that I've ever sang in, so that's been really something fun for me. I would try like I started doing open mics, and I was covering a lot of John McCauley's music. He's a Baltimore musician in like Deer Tick and Diamond Rugs and Middle Brother, and for some reason his vocal range just kind of stuck to me. And then I went and bought this like baritone guitar. This is Umbra.
What brand of guitar is it?
It's a Supro Hampton 2 something baritone, and so that kind of dropped the.
You know anything about it?
Yeah.
Chris is a guitar player.
Oh yeah. So it dropped all the open chords into my vocal range, which was pretty cool, or at least I thought so. So I started just coming up with, I don't think my melodies that I'm singing are any kind of crazy, and that's always developing, but just to get something out there to like mostly I was like my lyrics come from I was having a pretty bad time at like a Jesuit college, so a lot of it was
Who doesn't?
I don't know, it's like, but a lot of it just came out like hating corporate culture and like religion and just kind of angsty stuff. That's why I said it's like more punk rock than anything. So yeah, I just had to like get something down to put those into a song, and and then I kind of kept writing.
Do you feel any different now that all that's behind you?
Oh yeah. Well, years of difference, or like light years of difference. It's I just had to get out of there, and really like I tried to drop out twice just to get back into music. And
They wouldn't let you drop
it's always
out?
been bugging me, like, you know what I mean? I have to do music, and I wasn't doing it, and I wasn't meeting other musicians at,
A funny
Jesuits.
story that when I was 19 years old, I had a gig in New York, and I'm from Verdon, Illinois, a little town 26 miles south of Springfield, Illinois. And it was one of those things I had to decide, okay, are you going to play music or not? I just packed up my van full of shit and drove, and the next stop, Brooklyn.
Oh, there you go.
So I understand what you're saying. If you're playing music, sometimes you just gotta do it. There's no, because if you try to make sense out of all of it, it's not going to make any sense.
Yeah, or to like even have confidence that like what you're gonna do is gonna get you
No,
anywhere.
it's not. Nothing's going to make any sense. You got to either want to do it or not want to do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just it's like self-fulfilling, or like it's fulfilling in its own right, just to create stuff. And like, even though I have like since I've made this music in like December or something, I've probably only had like less than 1,000 people listen to it total, and it's just not about that for me. It's more about just doing it on my own. I can obviously like play by myself. I can practice on my own. I don't need to try and herd cats with getting musicians together, because that's always a fun task. I'm in a couple other projects too. I don't know if I should like get into them at all.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, it was like after college, I just kind of went on Craigslist and signed up for, or just any instrument, any band really. I just wanted to start mixing, because I've been playing my whole life, but I've never been like on stage or like gigging and traveling and all that, which I think is the most fun part now. So I just went on a Craigslist ad, and I joined this band called Crotchkey Kids, and we played, they're like a hardcore band, and we played one show, and the guitarist decided to focus on his other band, and then so we formed a new band that's called Homunculus, and it's kind of like more like a screaming and growling and heavy drum parts, and I'm a drummer in that band. And then someone opened for us one night. Her name's Mariah. She's goes under the name Woven In, and they were like, I need a drummer that's willing to go to New Orleans, all expenses paid, except for like I buy my own food or something like that. And we're just like went on, and I was like, yeah, me, obviously, like I'll do that, because I went to school in New Orleans at first, and so it was cool to, like, the whole time I was down there, the whole reason I went to New Orleans was to start a band, and I didn't even touch a drum set the whole time I was down there. Like, so it was cool to have music get me back there.
You just touch a drum set, like.
Yeah, barely. I'd be telling people left and right, like, I want to jam, and they're like, you can't really have a drum set in your dorm room or like any of that stuff. So, and everybody just, I wasn't really myself there either. I wasn't really fooling anybody that I was actually a musician, so they were kind of like, go get your business degree, frat boy, like, you know, whatever.
Everybody wants you to do something they understand.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what the music business is. You know, they if I would have done things that everybody understood, maybe I would have. I don't know what I'd have been by now.
Yeah, no,
who gives a shit?
Exactly, it's not about that. Yeah, our music's, you know, we played a lot at Sidebar. I know they've been like struggling a lot, but that's been our like home base for Homunculus.
Okay, so let me ask you about your tunes. What was the name of the first tune?
Over the Moon.
And it was about?
That song is about having really talented friends that stopped playing music, and it just drives me crazy to see that. Like everybody, it's like one of those like pick your own adventure books, and every single time it ends with a 9-to-5 job and they stop playing music, and it's also about kind of like the partying aspect of music a little bit too, or a lot of it, but just like the fun that it is, and like to just give up on it, it's just so tragic to me. Can't stand it. So it's kind of like something like that.
The second song was Piss, right?
Yeah.
What? I gotta ask.
Yeah.
What? Tell me.
That one's about the moment. Well, I was like at this like after hours bluegrass party, and I was, you know,
had to piss.
And I had to piss, so I went outside, and there was this moment when I just started going, and I like tossed my head back, and I was just like, oh yeah, and then like saw this like amazing cloud star combination going on, and like everything, just like the scenery just blew my mind, and I was like, these little moments, like you don't get that often. And then it's also about like this businessman that came outside also, and me just being like, I'm so far past this now that I can't even like talk to these people, and then finally it's about what happens when you stay up all night doing that, and like coming to in the morning and just seeing like yet another amazing.
So you're how old now?
28.
28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I really hadn't. This started, you know, last year, about 6 months ago, probably.
I'm just I'm just trying to get in my mind the thing about the piss, like you see in all the colors and all the shit. Were you doing drugs at the time, or just it was just
There
natural?
may have been something in the chocolate.
There
but,
might have
yeah,
been some acid in the
Yeah,
foray. Okay, all right.
It's hard to say, but
I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that sometimes
a fun time.
things happen.
yeah. But yeah,
Colors.
It was fun. It was like those parties were awesome, but
Because every
Yeah.
time I've gone to the bathroom, I never see that unless I would have,
yeah.
taken
sure.
a
Yeah,
helpful.
there's some more obscure and more obvious references in there for sure, and then it has a German part in it too, which is cool. I like to speak German.
You do speak German.
Yeah, I look pretty good. Pretty
You know
well.
what Abspritzen means?
What's that?
Abspritzen.
Abspritze?
Abspritzen.
Abspritzen?
It's a lethal injection.
A lethal.
Never mind. Never mind.
Interesting. But yeah, I have the last line is just like Ich bin oft besoffen und das weißt du schon darüber, dass ich ein blauer Mann bin, which means like I love to piss outside and I'm always drunk, but you already know that I'm a drunk guy. So it is about partying, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love to be able to rhyme in German. It's just cool. My brother's like living in Germany and my mom
Where's he
speaks
living?
German. He's in
Don't tell me Heidelberg.
No. Oh my God. He's going to Hohenheim University, I think it's called.
Where's it at?
I can't even remember.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But
Okay,
he loves it.
so we're going to draw this to a close. That's Furious, not curious, Furious George.
Well, ask him about his name though, because he keeps changing his name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well I've changed it to FRSG just because somebody in a music store said like, what's your project? I was like, Furious George, and he kind of perked up and he's like, no way, and I was like, why, you heard of me? And he's like, no, my bass teacher used to be in a band called that in New Orleans, and they got sued by a band in New York called that, and it's like a Simpsons episode, and it's like a Age of Empires reference. That's where I got it personally, but
As George Carlin said, by the time you get old, everybody you know is going to be in a band.
or has been. But yeah, so I just everything I do is abbreviated to 4 letters just for like file naming purposes, and so it's just like a kind of like a tick that I have. So FRSG is where it landed, and I'm kind of like it that way. Fits neatly into my file folders and all that stuff. So
Do you have any other bits of trivia for us before we shut her down?
no, I think that's pretty much covered it.
Furious George, come on, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, George, very much.
All right.